Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday's Market Outlook here at Top Gun Options. I'm Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, the founder and CEO here at Top Gun Options. Just knocked out our weekly options brief. Staying bearish on China with FXI. We placed a trade last Monday that expired Friday afternoon in the absolute Thunderdome between China and the president for an $1,800 profit in 4 days. Beautiful trade, and also added a weekly bearish trade on the S&P 500 out to Wednesday, not even a Friday expiration. This is a Wednesday expiration, folks. Real quick, why? Take a look at these markets. Every one of these Mondays, we've had a green open on quote unquote good news or a relief. It's been followed by an absolute rip your face off implosion. This is a trading market right now, and we've been doing an excellent job dogfighting in the middle here. We've nailed every one of these. Sell the rips, buy the dips briefly, and then sell the rips again and briefly back and forth. Nothing I have seen today or since Friday's massacre, the Friday afternoon massacre, it leads me to believe that this little bounce in the S&P 500 or the Dow here is to be believed. One of the main altimeters you always have to look at is the VIX. 80% of the time, when the market is up, the VIX goes down. Okay, well, that's a big indicator. 80% of the time. Listen to me. That means, let's do the political science math here. That means 20% of the time, ladies and gentlemen, when the market is up and the VIX is up, something is up. What's the something that is up? Nobody believes anything that Donald Trump said today about trade, right? So market up, VIX up, something is up. What's the something that is up? Nobody believes this little bit of a rally. And if anything, ladies and gentlemen, what's the trend in these kind of snapback rallies? They're getting smaller and smaller. Let's go to the tape. Folks, I was trying to enjoy dropping my son off in Vermont at the end of last week. I mean, man, thank God we had all these, we had bearish China, bearish S&P 500 trades on. We had all these bearish trades on. And from Jerome Powell in the morning to the president and China going back and forth at it all afternoon, we had an epic week last week. And we're going to have another one this week because none of this is nuts. I mean, what happened Friday? Jerome Powell spoke at the Jackson Hole, and what happened? Absolutely nothing. I mean, the dude, it was kind of a nothing burger, which, God bless him for kind of sticking to his guns of, it's a trade war. It could get ugly, but things are good. He said, back here, what was it? The last time he sent markets into a turmoil, what did he say? He said, we're going to be data dependent. Good. That's, last time I looked, I think your job, Mr. Chairman, is what? To look at the data and make a decision. Data dependent means exactly that. But what did he say Friday morning? He said the Fed will, quote, act as appropriate to keep the expansion going. Let me give you the political science translation of that. I'm going to pump this market full of liquidity with QE and cut interest rates to keep the stock market up. That ain't your job, Mr. Powell. I don't care what President Trump says. Full employment and inflation are your only two congressional mandates. Keeping equities higher is not the Fed chief's job. Before Jerome Powell spoke, I looked at two Fed chiefs getting interviewed on CNBC. And what did they say? It was Esther George and I forget the other dude. The one guy wasn't a voting member yet. He said voting member. He said what? Both of them said what? The Fed didn't need to cut rates before the last meeting. There was a lot of dissent, folks. So, of course, Jerome Powell was taken to the woodshed Friday by the president. And then what happened Friday afternoon? Just a volley back and forth, ladies and gentlemen, of trade shots. I said this the second this happened, folks. We were in a live trade brief. I said the president's decision to delay the tariffs is going to be seen as us giving up and weakness by China. And it makes this trade situation worse, not better. Did you hear me? My members did. I think I said that on one of these sit reps too. I said him punting to December, 4 months, is absolute cowardice under fire, and the Chinese won. They win. This was also the day, ladies and gentlemen, when he punted because Tim Cook came and kissed his ass. Because God forbid, Apple, ladies and gentlemen, Apple makes their iPhones in China. You know who makes them? Little girls and boys that they pay about 10 cents a year to. But you go buy your iPhone for $1,000. Good job. So Apple comes groveling to the president that their company's going to get hurt. This is the same company who refused, while the San Bernardino killers out there mowing down Americans, Tim Cook, no, we're not going to open the FBI's asked me to open their iPhone because there might be intelligence in there to save other Americans' lives, but we're not going to do that. Are you shitting me? It's ridiculous. So we had to get an Israeli company to hack into the iPhone. Thanks, Israel. You're more of an American than Tim Cook. So Tim Cook comes and begs to delay the tariffs. Absolute capitulation by the president. This was the same day he more or less took what sounded like a complete coward on Hong Kong as well. Hong Kong's owned by China. President Xi doesn't need my advice. It's their internal issue. Are you kidding me? Last week we had people in Portland, Oregon, beating up people whose speech they didn't agree with, running around with Russian flags, communist flags, while in China we have people running around with American flags asking for a Bill of Rights and a Second Amendment and asking for our help. Can we swap those people? Can we send the idiots in Portland to Hong Kong and the people who love freedom to Portland? I'll bet you the people in Portland would love that instead of having feces and needles all over their sidewalk. Anyway, folks, I predicted this. I told you this was going to happen. Him punting these tariffs, absolute sign of weakness. Him talking like that on Hong Kong, absolute weakness. So what happened today? I mean, Friday was a year ago in Trump market. What happened today? The president said, they called last night and, they want to get back to the negotiating table. They called me. Everything's good. Is that literally what happened? Call or no call? Steve Mnuchin this morning looked embarrassed again, sitting next to the president. Why? Because somebody asked a direct question. Did you mean to say there was also a call last night, or was there not a call? There was discussions that went back and forth, and I'll just leave it at that. President jumped all over him. Last night there was a call. So the Chinese came out on Twitter and said they laughed at the president. They made fun of him and said, what call are you talking about? We didn't call you, and you can kiss our ass. We're going to raise tariffs even more. Boo. So the market can be doing what it's doing right now with a little bit of up. We're going down, folks. We're going down. I've nailed all of these calls, ladies and gentlemen, from the volatility staying up to trading volatility. We're having an absolute blast. U.S. stocks rise. Trump says China wants a deal. That's not what they're saying. Now, I get that the president doesn't have any filter and what we see is what we get, but this is, the negotiate in public is a little dangerous, to be honest with you. So net, I don't know what's going on. I just know that volatility is going to go higher and stay elevated. Or actually not that it's going to go higher, it's going to stay elevated. Look at this. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, I briefed you on a sit rep of the Wall Street Journal article that said markets are eerily calm right now. You see, look at this. We had a little freak out, nothing, a little freak out. Market right here. Markets are eerily calm. And what did I say? In 27 years of doing this, anytime you see an article that says, hey, here comes the retail trader, the water's great, jump in, or vol's really low and everybody's shorting volatility, that is the exact moment you get long. The VIX went up 106% since the day I said, holy crap, it is uber time to get long volatility. I also said that vol would come in but stay elevated. I told you to not call this the volatility index. You call it the uncertainty index. Why are we still elevated? Because there's a lot of uncertainty. This is the height of the freak out, a little bit more of a freak out, and then a little freak out. Friday. Look at that. That's Friday. Look at this. So vol's going to stay elevated, folks. Look at 6 months ago. What did we do? Freak out, stay elevated, freak out, stay elevated, and then, okay, we're all going to be friends. Same thing is happening over here, folks. As a matter of fact, in my weekly options brief at 1 o'clock, I said what? We might even short vol out to Friday. Right up here, like, what was it, 22.5 around the VIX or 29.5 on VXX? Didn't want to add 3 weekly options trades. That's a lot. I'm going to do it on my own somewhere else, but I would absolutely be looking to short volatility on a day where the market is up and the VIX is up. Write that down, folks. Market up, VIX up, something is up. And the something that is up is this is a little bit of a hold your nose rally, folks. And guess what? Don't believe it. Sell into it. Okay? All right, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's market sit rep.